Hello, how's it going? Got some cassette action in the mail. Oh, mama, mama. Sleep, the incredible Dope Smoker album, reissued multiple times. Got it on CD and vinyl, and now cassette. Southern Lord put out a limited edition of these green cassettes, and I couldn't resist. It is, I've spoken about it, maybe once or twice. It is hands down one of my favorite albums of all times. Got my little ghetto blaster down here, and then I've got a tape deck upstairs hooked up to the stereo, so it's been great. I've been listening to that just a little bit, not a lot. How's it going? How are you? Nice to see you. I'm here. I just wanted to chat for a little bit. I've got some time to myself here for a little before everything kicks into high gear at the house and dinner gets started. I want to just talk about a couple of things, something that I didn't mention before in the last video that I did. I follow a number of artists on Instagram, and one of them is Glacial Faces. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to Glacial Faces. Some incredible art he's been posting for quite a while, and I've been following for quite a while. And up until this point, I don't think really got too much into selling art. So he recently had a online on Instagram auction of sorts. It wasn't quite an auction. He posted a bunch of stuff and there was a set price and you could order it. So it was kind of first come, first serve. So I bought 3 pieces from him because it was very cheap and it was the original art. It wasn't prints. These are the original pieces. And I wanted to share them with you because I really like his style. He's been dipping into painting now as well, and lately has been posting I think he's made 2 paintings so far, and he's been posting some of that, and it's equally as impressive. My wife really likes this art as well too. She recently took a small business course, and somebody in there has a framing, somebody who also took the course has a framing shop that she started. It was at the Women's Resource Center, I believe is what it's called. So we had a piece framed by her, and she did an incredible job. And I think I might take these to her as well to get just kind of a small frame and get some mats for it so we can put these up. And maybe down the road, if some of Glacial Faces paintings become available for sale, I think it would be an easy sell for us to buy a piece. But we'll see what comes of that. So in the meantime, this is what we're looking at. Really, really nice. It's a bit bright from the colors maybe aren't coming through as well as they could on here. If you go to Glacial Faces on Instagram, you can get a much better view because this is kind of all washed out on this camera. So original art, because you can see all the felt bleeding through the other side. So I got 3 pieces. There's the second one. Yeah, that doesn't look so good on camera. Trust me, they look way, way better without this glow of the computer screen on them. Hey, maybe if I do that, does that kind of do it a little more justice? There you go. And finally, one that's a little bit bigger. And this was kind of cool because, I'll show you that in a second. Oh yeah, it's up on a box lid. There was a sticker version of this piece as well too. He sent me a bunch of stickers, which is pretty great. Just a very cool style, some great colors. Let me see, pull out these stickers. I've used a couple of them already. There's another one. And then some of these kind of die cut stickers as well too. I mean, I think the sales were so successful that that I think he was very surprised at how successful the sale was. Things sold out very, very quickly, which is great. The last thing you want to do when you're having an art sale is stuff sit there. So he recently had a second one, and I think that was equally as successful. I had to charge a little bit more the second time around, just due to shipping costs were a little more expensive than he had originally put in. So Glacial Faces, very, very highly recommended to go and search him out on Instagram and give him a follow and check out his art. And if sales come up, really beautiful stuff. So video is called Original Art and the End of an Era. I'm not going anywhere. End of an era is my selling days. I'm going to limit now to, as I was speaking about before, going to limit my sales to some things online. I have a few things left that I'm still selling. Underground Comics, my doubles being one of them, I didn't take in. So I just recently took all the comics that I had left over to Galaxy Comics and was hoping to sell them. Didn't turn out like that. There wasn't much that they needed for sale, but he says maybe we could work out a trade. We eventually worked out a trade deal, which was good. I know that there's not much in there. I do realize that. I mean, I've been carting these around and no interest whatsoever. So it's that time where I just didn't want to bring them in again. So they're now all gone. So I don't think I'll be doing conventions anymore, at least for the time being. I do love doing the mini conventions. I just it's too much to kind of have this stuff sitting here and then not selling enough of it. I did make some sales. It wasn't like the last convention I was unsuccessful. It wasn't as good as, say, the first convention that I was at, the first time I did the mini con. But it does feel good to kind of have that chapter closed. Those books are gone. They're not taking up space. I feel like I have a little more control in here, which is good. And like I said, I'm still doing a couple of sales online. I may still try a couple of the Facebook groups. I tried posting the Underground Comics before. I think it was on the Comic Auctions Canada one. I don't remember which one. And again, with no luck. I had a couple of people that were interested, one person specifically, to buy all the doubles, but I set a price and then I didn't hear from them again. That classic. A lot of back and forth and a lot of interest and a lot of dialogue, and then I came up with what I thought was a really great price, let them know the shipping, and then crickets, which is always a little frustrating. I do understand. I don't take it personally, and I'm not going to hunt the person down or anything, but it does get a little bit time consuming and frustrating when you have to deal with that kind of thing. So I worked out the trade and got a stack of books because the stuff that I was trading in wasn't highly sought after. It was very limited as to what I could kind of pick in return, which is fine by me. I didn't expect to bring in these books that you'll probably turn around and sell for 50 cents or $1 and then go and pick some old Daredevil books. I totally get it. And like I said, completely fine with that. It allowed me to kind of focus and fill in some gaps. Unfortunately, so it was really good. I'll tell you this first. So I got some supplies, and he said, supplies, I can absolutely do you a great deal on supplies if you want more stuff. That kind of thing. I don't mind doing trades, which I didn't even realize was an option when I brought in comics. So I've been using these dividers in my comic boxes just to kind of keep things organized. I've really, really loved them. So he gave me a pack. So it's 25 dividers per pack. So that was free, loose quotes. Bags and boards, I picked up another supply of bags and boards, 100 of each. That was free, and which was great. And then the rest was comics. He took a lot of money off of the comics, and then the money that was left over from stuff that I was picking up, he gave me a discount on those. So I don't know. I think I'm happy with it. I'm more than happy with it because those books are not back in this house, and I can try to catch up because I haven't been buying new comics for a long time. I've missed a lot of series where I was starting to buy them and then just kind of tapered off. And again, so I got Paper Girls, only one issue of Paper Girls. I'm missing issue number 4, strangely enough. I could have sworn that I had it. There wasn't a lot of these upstairs that I didn't already have. Obviously, popular series, they're pretty much selling out of anything new Paper Girls related. Maybe I'll put them over here. Got to put a dent into Black Science. So number 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So that brings me up to issue 20 now complete, which is good. That was a series I was really, really loving. And again, things fall by the wayside when you're not picking up comics on a weekly basis. One that I hope I still have the first issue of. I do remember enjoying it. And I think I have the whole 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, no, I'm missing issue number 8. Issue number 8 they didn't have. A series called Egos. I think Damien Sleepy Reader was reading this as well. I don't know how many people were actually reading it. 3, this cover looks really, really familiar. I hope I don't already have it. If I do, it's not the end of the world. Issue 4. Issue 5. These are great covers. These last few here. Issue 6. Number 7. Oh, Volstix, how are you? And then, or sorry, issue 7, and then issue 9. So missing the one, I think 9 was the last issue. So I'm just missing number 8. Another that I was very excited about jumping on because I loved the first 3 issues quite a bit. I'm a big, I do love 100 Bullets. It's one of those series. I keep meaning to collect the hardcover versions of them. I only have the first volume. I do love it, and I really like the first 3 issues of Moonshine. So I picked up some more of those. Issue 4, killer cover there. Issue 5. I was hearing mixed things about it, but I'm willing to give it a shot when it comes to trading in books. Number 6. It's kind of a low commitment. I haven't really spent money on it, so to speak. Issue 8. Issue 9. And number 10. I'm not sure how far this went, but I got up to 10. I think there's a few issues still after that. I'm not sure if it's still going. Again, I just don't keep up. Mr. Tom, my son, and I were a few issues shy of the Weird World stuff. There wasn't actually a lot. There was very, very little. I'm good. Bought up a load of those Panic reprints with all that amazing Elderwood, Davies, etc. EC Humor stuff. That's awesome. Were those is that the Fantagraphics? Didn't Fantagraphics do the collections of those? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find too many because we do have a few gaps in Volume 1 and Volume 2. My son and I love Del Mundo's art, absolutely love his art. So, and these were really fun stories as well, too. So, number 5 and number 6, right? Yeah. So now we have this entire volume. I believe this was Volume 2, but we're still missing, I think, just 1 issue in Volume 1 or 2 issues. So that'll be exciting. And one that I was very excited about last night, I kind of went through my list and I went through the boxes to confirm my list with some of the new series, what gaps I had. And as I was going through, I was just writing down all the titles. And when I came across this one, this was the first one. This was the first place that I went. And I'm very, very excited. Again, I've heard really good things about it, and I'm really excited to jump back into this one. I only had the first 2 issues, but I remember really liking them when they were coming out. But again, just fell by the wayside. The Autumnlands Tooth and Claw, with beautiful, beautiful covers. The guy at the comic shop said he actually met this artist, and he got a piece done by him in his sketchbook. When he goes to cons, he has a book where he collects all the sketches from artists. So he now has Dewey, is that right? Issue number 4. But these covers are incredible. Number 5, again, I've heard many, many good things about it. So I'm very excited. Number 6, love this cover a lot. This is one of my favorites, I think, of the bunch. Number 7, love the use of the white space on the covers. Number 8, Gemstone Publishing in the mid-90s. Okay. Number 9, 10, that's a great cover as well. 11, 12, as floppies even, that's awesome. 13, and finally 14. So that's great. I think that's all of that series, right? Was there a second series as well too? I know that some of you out there will be able to tell me. And then I got to clean out the bin. I had a subscription box. There was not much in it because I told him when he kind of put me back onto having a subscription box. I was telling him I can't commit to coming every month. I just can't. I'm not going to be following stuff. There was a couple of titles. I think I renewed the box again when the Young Animal stuff was coming out because I wanted to make sure that I at least got those. So Shade the Changing Girl, I know it's on Shade the Changing Woman right now, but I'm far behind on this one. This is issue 9. That's the only one that I got. They did have the other Shade the Changing Girls upstairs, but I'm going to leave that for another time. Another one that I know is still going. I did like the first series. Britannia. This is Lost Eagles of Rome. Grave Trancers. Again, I remember liking the first issue. I have issues 1 and 2 already. I don't think I read issue 2. So that's 3. And that's issue 4. The year on those Autumnlands. It's got to be a few years ago at this point. I'll open it in a second. I'll let you know. Another one that I was excited about when I was originally reading it, Maestros, number 6, and then number 7. And another, which I didn't realize, I didn't look closely enough. I guess he threw it in my box. Sometimes he'll throw stuff in my box that he thinks I'll be interested in. I didn't actually realize that Cave Carson has now an Interstellar Eye. So this is issue number 4. I don't have any others from this particular run, and I'm not even finished the first run, to be honest. And then Retcon number 2. I remember liking number 1. And that's it. So, you know, it's great. I'm excited to sit and read stuff. Last night when I was pulling stuff out, I finally sat and read. I'm starting to go through this Snowfall. I'm missing a couple issues, but started to read that, which is going to be fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And let's look here. Pardon me. Your Autumnlands. Oh, even wraparound covers. Look at that. Beautiful. What do we got here? Oh, glasses. 2015. So this issue 3 was from January 2015. Some of those Young Animals are pretty cool. I enjoyed, yeah, Shade the Changing Girl was really, really great. G, what up, G? Shade the Changing Girl was such a fantastic read. And I mean, I knew that I was going to like it. I grew up loving Shade the Changing Man, the Peter Milligan stuff. Huge influence on me. So, and I was really, really digging Shade the Changing Girl, and Shade the Changing Woman, I'm sure, is just a great read as well too. It's just with the Young Animal stuff, there seemed to be some little bit of crossover, the Milk Wars thing. I don't think it was too big of a deal. I think there might have been one issue each, but they did have a couple of those there, and they had the Frank Quietly covers, which again, I'm sold. I love Quietly's artwork as well. I just didn't pick them up. I'm hoping that that's one. I'll pick it up very soon, I'm sure. But I want to kind of focus on reading this stuff, especially this stuff that I got now, and kind of dip my toes back into some of the newer, in loose quotes, if 2015 is considered new. Very, very excited to read that Autumn Land series. I'm really, really looking forward to that. That was pretty much it. Screamer, no, I didn't. I know the name, but I did not. I have not read it. It was fun to dig in the bins, though, you know, even though it was just a little bit of digging. They've got a ton of stuff upstairs at Galaxy, so much, and then a warehouse filled with stuff, too. They do carry older stuff behind the counters, but it was limited to kind of newer series. Again, Glacial Faces. Let's show these one more time. For those of you that are just joining us, I did receive some original art, and I want to make sure that I hype this guy as much as possible. Glacial Faces, some original art. You can see the bleed through. Had a couple of sales. Instagram, check out Glacial Faces. That one. This. And this one. So I think those are going to get a nice frame. I'll show you them framed up once it's done. That's it. That's all. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Short one. Don't have too much time. G, I guess this weekend we will see you. So this weekend, I believe, was our date, right? Sunday we were going to talk. We're going to go into some more Swamp Thing. I believe we're just talking about, yeah, Glacial Faces. That is correct. Yes, Full Sticks, Glacial Faces. We're going to talk, I believe, about Volume 2 and Volume 3 of Swamp Thing, the Alan Moore Swamp Thing, which I'm looking forward to. I'm well into it, and my son has been reading along with me. My son is kind of going through a phase right now where he's really immersed in reading a bunch of comics. He read the original Watchmen. We bought the trade, and he read that. And then I gave him all the before Watchmen stuff, which he's reading through as well. Again, it'll be interesting to get a perspective from him, who doesn't have that baggage of Alan Moore freaking out and the original Watchmen being its own thing. I'm curious to hear his impression of how they work together without the rest of that stuff. He doesn't have all that knowledge. I've told him a little bit about that stuff, about the history of the book and things like that. But he's really, I mean, he's always read comics with me anyway, but it seems right now he's really having a resurgence of wanting to read lots of stuff, especially now that he's getting to an age where more of my collection is opened up to him, whereas before there was stuff where maybe the content was a little too adult for him. Now he's, yeah, the Steve Rude dollar bill one shot. Yes, exactly. He's at that age now where I think that's part of his excitement. He's seeing all these books that I've talked about before, and now he can actually read them. So he's really just throwing himself in there, which is really great. I had an empty short box. I gave him a bunch of comics, and I gave him the short box so he can have his little collection of stuff at home, and stuff that I gave him to read. I said, you can keep it. I don't want it back. I had a bunch of the Batman Chronicles. I gave him those ones because they're kind of little stories in each one. Yeah, so that's it. So I'm looking forward to join us, Mind the Comics channel, Volume 2 and Volume 3 of Swamp Thing, and I'll try not to talk too much about how underground it is, but it is very subversive shit, and I am loving it. And I know I say that all the time, and I will say it again on Sunday, probably multiple times. I'm amazed at how good it is, even after this time. It's just, it works. It's like you read those books every once in a while where it feels like it's written for you. It really just speaks to me in such a nice way. I'm completely enamored with it. I'm completely in love with it. Why don't you marry it? That's it. Thanks. And we'll see you soon. Thank you very much, G. That's this perspective you will get, because there's a lot of little, as we've spoken about before, there was a lot of little underground nuggets throughout that book, which excited me to no end. Thanks very much. What time on Sunday? That's a very good question. G, what time on Sunday? So I am Central Standard Time here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I actually don't remember what we decided on, to be honest. About 5 Eastern Standard Time is what G is saying. So on Mind the Comics channel, about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, is that the 14th on the Sunday? There you go. Whatever this Sunday is, that's when it'll be. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. See you on Sunday.